Developing overnight, a member of the House Intelligence Committee told CNN that based on the briefing that he'd received, the drones that people say they've been seeing over New Jersey are not anything nefarious and not part of any U.S. government operation. Overnight, President Biden weighed in for the first time.
There's nothing nefarious, apparently, but they're checking it all out. I think it's just one. There's a lot of drones authorized up there. We're following them closely. So far, no sense of danger.
Pretty clear the word nefarious has never been used this much on any other subject. But that aside, CNN's Pete Muntean traveled to New Jersey to investigate for himself.
We are on the lookout for drones, with drones, where fears first took off, New Jersey. Ocean County Sheriff Sergeant Kevin Fennessy is one of about a dozen drone officers responding to calls and now tracking flights from inside this major crimes command center, now turned into a drone war room.
It's wild, the amount of air traffic over New Jersey, and especially over Ocean County.
The sergeant says, sure, many of the calls the department gets are actually airplanes, helicopters, medevacs, planets, even stars. But they have seen things they just cannot explain. A sheriff's lookout drone tethered to the ground captured this video.
We had something coming at us, and as it's coming at us, it stops, it does like a 180 in the air and then drives away, and then comes back and does like a giant U around us. So that's not normal for aircraft.
So this is really happening?
We think so. It's definitely something that whatever we're seeing, we can't figure out what it is.
The federal government reiterated Tuesday that the vast majority of purported drone sightings are in fact airplanes or drones flying legally with no threat to public safety. But don't say that to the folks on the Seaside Heights boardwalk who were not shy to tell me about what they have seen.
I think it's drones. Too many people have seen them to it not be real.
I haven't seen it. I do think it's legitimate, but I don't believe that nobody knows where they're coming from.
I haven't seen any legitimate drone sightings in this current flap around New Jersey.
Science writer and conspiracy expert Mick West investigates possible drone sightings and says that you can too.
If you get the details, the date, the time, and the location, you can actually look up what was in the sky at that point and look at what direction they were looking in, and you can see that it was actually just a plane.
We're on the boardwalk, the sun is set, and the sky has really come alive. You can see almost why folks are reporting so many drone sightings. Off in the distance over the Atlantic Ocean there, I can see several planes. I'm corroborating here with the same app that they use over in the command center. This is called ADS-B Exchange, showing within about a 20-mile view planes broadcasting their position live. There's an Atlas Air cargo flight that just left not too far away from here, going out over the Atlantic Ocean. There's a Delta flight that's coming in over the Atlantic, turning north to go into JFK, and then another really bright light above those two. That is Jupiter. But it's the things that cannot be explained so easily that have folks here really concerned. Deputies like Kevin Fennessy hope the truth is still out there.
We're not drone hunters. We're just trying to see if we can figure out what's going on, where they're coming from, and try to put this to bed.
This morning, we're getting some new details from lawmakers who attended a classified briefing on the drone sightings over New Jersey. This is what they said after.
There's a lot of rumor out there that this is radiation sniffing or chemical sniffing. This is not a federal government operation. We're very, very confident of that.
There's no imminent threat to public safety.
They haven't found anything that would indicate that there's foreign influence, foreign actors, or even little green men.
All right, with us now from New Jersey, Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia. Not nefarious, not any kind of U.S. government operation, not any foreign threat. These are from people who were briefed on this by the intelligence community. How satisfied are you with those answers?
Absolutely not satisfied. In the state of New Jersey, we have been witnessing this now going on week 5. And from a state legislative standpoint, 1 week ago today, we were briefed at the New Jersey State Police ROC. However, that was a briefing called by Governor Phil Murphy, who did not show up to the briefing. We were informed that the FBI at that time was the lead agency on this situation. The FBI was not present. We did have Department of Homeland Security and our own Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness there, along with the state police. Since then, it has been 1 week, and we have gotten radio silence other than hearing about this congressional briefing that happened. And my question is really quite simple. If there is nothing to be concerned about in any capacity, why does it require a classified briefing of such to tell us they're hobby drones, they're airplanes? I call nonsense.
Well, that is a fair question. Why is a classified briefing necessary, and what's the difference between what they would say in a classified briefing and say publicly? Publicly, John Kirby of the National Security Council has said they've been up there with all this technology. They've determined it is, they say, hobby drones largely, commercial aircraft largely. There may be 100 or so things they haven't been able to identify that they're still running down. And I know that's not nothing. But by and large, what they say is it's stuff that's up there legally. Why? I mean, is that not satisfying to you?
No doubt that those are up there legally. Think about it logically. When the tragedy happened in 2001 with 9/11, explain to me if there were regular airplanes in the sky, if there were helicopters in the sky. Of course there were, but it does not negate the possibility that there is something that poses a danger to the residents of New Jersey, and now it's widespread. Tell the residents of Roxbury, New Jersey, which is one of the towns that I represent, when they see a dozen the size of SUVs. That is not a convenience store drone that somebody rolled into Wawa here and bought for their kid. That's insulting, and I feel like the response, the crisis communication response, it took weeks to get all of the agencies on the same page to issue one joint statement. I don't find that to be acceptable at all.
Have you proposed any laws or regulations to ban flying drones? Right now, it's legal to fly drones. It's illegal to shoot them down, but by and large, it's legal to fly drones at day and at night. Would you like to pass some measures that stop that? Because that would take some of these lights out of the sky.
I don't believe so, no, because then that infringes upon the ability to fly a drone. Flying a drone in and of itself is not in any way illegal. However, flying a drone at night without registration, turning your lights out, as reported by the New Jersey State Police during their surveillance, their New Jersey State Police helicopter flew over top a drone that was described as being 6 feet in diameter. And when they reached the spot above the drone, this drone turned its lights off and was not able to be detected. It took the federal government nearly a week to get us more sophisticated detection equipment. We now have those 3 units, and we still have no answers.
Is it a requirement that drones have their lights on when they fly?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. In 2023, when the FAA allowed for nighttime flying of drones, drones must be illuminated in flight.
All right. Well, look, there are still some questions I know you want answered. There have been some answers coming. We will see if there is anything at this point the federal government can or will do that will satisfy some of these questions. New Jersey Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia, thank you very much.